guys, this is Zoe, and today Zoe knows brakes. So we're working on my I'm working on my 2009 F250 again here. Working today and realized that I had some grind noise coming on. So I'm just now removing the tires here. Also realized that I have to rotate my tires. Not sure if you can see that, but I can kind of see the tread pattern here on the outside. So gotta rotate those tires and also go get an alignment tomorrow to make sure it doesn't do it on those necks once I rotate them. So today I'll be doing, I'm not sure which brake it is yet, front or back, so I'm taking them off. I've got the whole truck jacked up completely, front and back completely off the ground here. So this one here, the brakes are good on that one. I'm gonna check the rear brake there and then rotate those tires. All right. And generally when you rotate your tires, you want to go, and it depends, I think there's a difference if it's four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive or front-wheel drive or something like that, but it's Googleable. But for me, my front left or front driver's side rim is going to the rear passenger. Same thing with the front passenger is going to the driver side, and then the two back rims are coming straight up. So the two front kind of cross, and then the back comes straight forward. So that's how you rotate, generally how you rotate. I think there's some kind of difference in front wheel drive vehicles, but I've never had a front wheel drive vehicle, so it doesn't pertain to me, but it might pertain to you. So let's get into it. So you want to start by taking the lugs off. Right now I'm above ground here. I'm floating on all the way around. I've already broke these on this 2009 F250 here. 13/16 or 21 millimeters is the size that is needed. I've already broke all of them, so go ahead and take these off. So now that I got the rim off, I'm going to check my rotors. They look smooth on this side. Pulling around, it's smooth on that side. And I did hear some grinding. Right now, I still see meat on this brake pad. And I see very little meat on the inside pad. So it's definitely my back brakes that needs to be done. So I'm gonna go ahead and take those off. All right, so now that I've got the tire off, it's time to take that caliper off and see if this side is what's making the brakes. A little grind, had a little grind. It has no warning strip, so it happened really quick earlier today. So I'm here and I'm gonna be fighting the dark, so I gotta make this real quick. So this is the caliper here. These are your rotors. You wanna make sure those rotors here are nice and smooth and they were not grinding and don't have any lines or ridges going across there. This is the caliper here, and this is the caliper bolt. I've already broke these bolts off. It was pretty easy to come off. Now that I'm in Georgia and not Michigan, I don't have to deal with a lot of the salt or whatnot on the road that is going to deteriorate anything. So work that I've been doing to my vehicles here in Georgia has been pretty nice. And right now I have my parking brake on, so I can't take that off. That's pretty hard. So I've got to release my parking brake in order for that to come off. Got the parking brake off. Still having a little difficult. I'm gonna need two hands to remove that, but it's moving right now. All right, I've got the caliper off. I've got the brakes off. Here's the brake pad. They're not, well, you don't want that to happen. Taking it off, I nicked my caliper a little bit. I don't see any puncture in the actual rubber. I'm gonna tap that back in. Hopefully that doesn't create an issue in the future. So I'll be watching it. It looks like it's just the ring around, so hopefully that doesn't cause damage. I don't see any punctures in where brake fluid can come out, so hopefully I got out free with that, scot-free. But here's the brake pads here. They're pretty thin. Probably got a a hair of life left, but they're off now. And something was grinding or squeaking, so it may be the other side. But I'm gonna go ahead and change them anyway. Doesn't make sense. But what I normally do is I use a C-clamp, a large C-clamp, to go around here. Normally face those. I've used an old brake pad. I use one of the old brake pads to go across both caliper kind of disc there. And then you just crank that on and it should close. Watch out, depending on what kind of vehicle you're working on. Some of them you'll need the brake tool. It's like a little square. One of my vehicles had it. It's like a little square tool that you would need to actually turn it. You would turn it instead of compress it. So if you start cranking on this thing and it's not moving, stop. And you probably need that brake tool. So I'm gonna go ahead and compress this. Keep in mind when you do this, your reservoir up under the hood could possibly be filling up. So you wanna watch that and make sure you don't do it too much, or that you're gonna catch that fluid or it's gonna be leaking all over your driveway. Alright, so I just checked it out. That little nick in there is definitely creating an issue. Now I'm leaking brake fluid. Perfect. So I've got to make a run and go grab another caliper here and get this changed out. Yep, that sucks, but you know, what are you gonna do? Thought I was scot-free, but I'm not. Alright guys, so I found the culprit to why my pads were grinding. This is the inside rotor, which is probably way past turning. You can see the grooves and the lines here versus the other side. Other side nice and smooth. Nice and smooth on this side. So that's what you want to look for here. And this was the outside pad, which was in good shape. And here is the inside pad. This is the pad that was grinding. So that was ground all the way down. And that tells me a couple things. When one side is wearing a lot faster than the other, either it's a caliper problem, maybe it's sticking, and possibly need a new caliper on this side. So I've got to get a caliper for the other side anyway. I may well just go ahead and get this caliper here. It could also be a fluid issue. So I got to make sure I bleed these brakes properly, make sure they're all doing what they're supposed to do. So that was the culprit. I'm pretty sure I can't get that turned at this point. That's pretty deep. So I'll go grab some more. And I actually did not know that had the other type of brake system, the pads, or the shoes, I'm sorry. But I believe that is just for my parking brake, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I think I've got a video. I possibly may have a video of that one as well, doing a different truck where I had to do the brake shoes on that. The best way for those is to take a picture before you take anything off, kind of know where all the springs go and what they're looped around. Take a picture, even take a video, and then change them there. But they're pretty simple once you kind of know it. But let's get back to this. So yeah, that's my rotor. Got to change those. I'm gonna go ahead and snatch this caliper off here as well, and got it somewhere sitting up there. I'm gonna go ahead and snatch that off. So I'll be back. Doesn't have any visual damage as far as what's going on and why my inside brake pad will be wearing uneven. It's not leaking. There's no signs of any leaks. There's no sign of any damage. The rubber around the caliper is good, so I have reason to believe that this caliper is still in good shape. So that might be a plus for me. The other thing that could do it, and that I just noticed, is the guide pins. Notice this guide pin here. Now this holds on this actually goes here, and that holds the, that's going to hold the brake pads on. All right. So this is where the caliper screwed into right here. The caliper screwed in there. So I took this bracket off in order to get the rotor off. All right. But I noticed, see how that moves nice and easy. And here, this one doesn't move at all. It's seized up. So what that tells me is this pin, it doesn't allow that pad to, that caliper to depress completely. So this side is possibly sticking. So I've got to take this off and see if I can still reuse that pin. There's silicone that you can put. This boot comes off. There you go. That boot comes off just like that. But this pin is probably seized up pretty good. So a little screwdriver, tap that out, and it should pop right out. Let's see what we got here. Alright guys, so here is the new rotor. Isn't that pretty? Oh yeah, nice and smooth. Alright, I'll slap that puppy on this side and tighten this side up. And then I'll move on over to the next side and put the new caliper on over on that side in the bracket. Nice and easy after this. Alright, so the new caliper comes with the bracket. At least the one that I bought comes with the bracket. The bolts that I no longer have to break open. I just put the pads in. They were a little tricky with these clips, so you kind of got to get them in there precisely, and those clips wrap around the bracket and hold them in place. So now those aren't going anywhere. But from the auto parts store that I went to, they have the bracket in. They're already torqued. So all I got to do is put it on and bolt it down. Nice and easy. This is the side that didn't need the rotor. Nice and smooth on this side. No problems there. So this should go pretty quick at this point. When installing the new caliper, make sure all your bolts are tight and connect the brake nut, which is what I'm doing now. And now that is ready to be bled. So I've got to bleed the brake system now, and you bleed it right there. All right, so now I've got the bolt there. It's nice and springy. This one is seized. So to take that off, we get our trusty little torch. Heat this puppy up. Trying to mess that boot up, so you may have to get the boot kit. I may have to just cut that off and get it out of my way, or it's just gonna burn. Probably what I'm gonna have to do. Get that out of my way. It's just burning. Smell it already. Got hot pretty quick. Remember, when you're heating up a boat or heating up anything with a torch, you want the cone and the inside blue flame is the hottest point. You want that cone on whatever it is you're heating up. Alright? And you want it to heat up evenly. I don't care if you're doing plumbing and you're heating up a boat trying to break it off or loosen it up. You want that inside blue flame right at the tip to be where it is, and you kind of want to heat up everything evenly. So I'm gonna see if I can bang this puppy off of here now. See if she's hot enough. I'm gonna need 2 hands. Okay guys, after about an hour of trying to bang this boat and get this unseized and be free moving like this one, I finally gave up. Auto parts stores were about to close, so I had to make an executive decision. That executive decision was to just buy a new bracket and the new bolts to go with it. So now it got a little late. I've bled the brakes. I've got the new rotor on, the new caliper, and the new caliper bracket, as well as the brake pads. That was the initial job that was needed. And let me tell you something. Let me show you something here. This is by far one of the best tools I've ever used. This is a one-man brake bleed kit. So there's a little attachment you put on the end of the hose. You stick that in your bleeder. Stick it in there real nice and tight, and it won't allow any air in it. You keep that empty. Turn this about a quarter turn loose and go push the brakes. Pump the brakes a couple of times. That little reserve is going to fill up. Turn that back and tighten that screw back up. Boom, done. You may have to do it 2 or 3 times. Make sure all the air is out the system, out the line. But that is it. No more have your spouse, have your buddy pumping the brakes. Like, this is the best thing. So that saves time. But everything is done. I'm gonna just rotate my tires at this point because that was needed, and this job will be closed.